Hi everyone, thanks very much for coming along today or watching this video as we're recording. Today we're going to be talking about the Uganda Volunteer Project. My name is Sorsha and I work for Play Action International, and I'm so excited that you are interested in becoming a member of our team for this year. So you may have a ton of questions, you might know lots of things about our project already, or you might know nothing, but before we get started, I have a question for you that I'd like you to think about throughout the presentation, and that is, what are you doing next summer? Are you going to be one of these people who doesn't really have anything planned and then sees everyone else living their best life on Instagram and regrets not getting something organised? Or are you going to be someone who puts the planning in now, puts the prep in now, and has an experience like no other this summer? And that experience, of course, is our Uganda volunteer project. So before we go into the specifics of the project and what you'll be getting up to and the benefits that you'll be bringing to the community that you'll be working in, I first just want to touch on the benefits to you. A lot of people think that volunteering is only beneficial to the places where you work, but the reality is it is beneficial to you, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So through volunteering with Play Action International, you'll be developing a variety of essential skills, and these are transferable skills that you can take to the workplace. You'll be able to give real life examples of when you've used teamwork and resilience when you're in job interviews and when you're completing job applications in the future. And you'll have like tangible examples that you'll be able to really use and hone in on that will make you stand out to future employers. You'll enhance your career prospects. Perhaps you've never thought about getting into international development or the charity sector, but maybe after this you'll be inspired to, and this is something that you'll want to take forward. You'll discover passion and interests. Perhaps you're already interested in traveling. Perhaps it's something that you've never really had the opportunity to do before, but by the end of this trip, I'm sure you will be absolutely hooked and you won't be able to get enough of seeing the world. And also, one of my favourite things is that you will make lifelong friends. The people who are going on project with you are strangers to you at the moment, most likely, but the reality is that by the end of your trip, you will know them so well, they will know you so well, and you really will stay in touch. We have volunteers who meet up for years and years after they take part in our projects. And it really is an experience like no other. So I'm so excited that you've come along to this presentation and you're interested in getting involved. This is going to be a bit of a journey. So I'm really going to take you through exactly what your project will look like. And your journey obviously begins with the plane over to Uganda. So you will be flying from a UK airport. It's usually London or Manchester, but it really does vary depending on sort of where you are located across the UK. Or if you're an international student, then you're also welcome to apply to us and fly from your home country. But you'll be flying over there. If you book onto one of the group flights that we have organised for you, then you'll be travelling with the rest of the rest of your team. So you'll greet each other at the airport. You'll have your yellow t-shirts on, which are really lovely, really stand out. You'll spot each other and then you'll be able to travel over to Uganda together. So don't worry if you've never taken a long haul flight before. Don't worry if you've never travelled to Uganda or somewhere in Africa before. You will be guided the whole way throughout it and you won't be on your own. And then once you arrive at the airport, you'll be flying into Entebbe International Airport, and one of the lovely Play Action International team will be there to greet you. And we will be there with smiles and snacks and ready to welcome you and get you started on the rest of your trip. Your first day in Uganda will be your adjustment day. So by this point, you'll have been fundraising for months and you'll have really become really excited and you're really looking forward to coming out to Uganda. But your excitement will have built up quite a lot, and we just want you to take a moment to sort of adjust to the fact that you're actually there. You've reached this goal, you've actually made it out to Uganda, it's happening, like you're about to have the best 2 weeks or 4 weeks. And we just, want you to take a moment to appreciate the fact that you're there and get used to being with the rest of your team. And you'll have moments to enjoy, like seeing the beautiful country that Uganda is. This will be your first day, and it will really cement the fact that it's going to be a great trip. On your first day, we will also take you to meet your school. So we will pick you up from the airport, pop you all on a bus and drive straight to your school. So right from the get-go, you'll be immersed into the community where you'll be volunteering. And this is such a nice day. There are 2 days that really stick out in volunteers' minds from the project. The first one is when they meet their school, and the second one I'll come on to a bit later. But this one is such a nice day. Your bus will pull up, everyone will be waiting in the same way that your excitement has been building up and building up and building up. The children in the school and the community find out that they're getting playground in around March. So their excitement has also been building and they're also super, super excited. So they'll see your bus coming and they'll realise that this is it. They're finally getting their playground. It's the moment that they've been waiting for, and they'll be so buzzing to see you. It'll likely be that they'll run alongside the bus to greet you off and welcome you with open arms into their community. Might be that they'll grab your hand, want to show you their school, their homes, and the community where they live, and you'll be thrown straight into playing games and having fun. And play is really sort of the pivotal, most important part of the day on the day that you meet your school as well. And then you're going to go into your volunteering. So the following day is we begin with the manual labour that is involved with building playground. So this is all of the unskilled manual labour. So it's your digging, your mixing cement, your sanding, your painting. There'll be an early rise up in the morning. You will stay over during the week. You'll stay at the school. So you'll be getting up around 8 o'clock and getting started with the volunteering. The team of local builders know exactly what they're doing and they'll give you loads of help and guidance. And you'll be sort of getting stuck in with the rest of your group. At around 11:30, you'll have a fruit break, and everybody loves the fruit break because the fruit in Uganda is delicious and is far better than any fruit that you get in the UK. One of my colleagues refuses to eat pineapple because it's just nowhere near as good as the pineapple that he got in Uganda. So yeah, it might sound a bit strange to be talking about fruit break, but it is something that you will definitely remember when you're sort of in the hot Ugandan sun doing all of this unskilled manual labour. I mentioned that it's unskilled labour, and that is a really important part of our projects. So Play Action International is in the business of creating and protecting jobs, not taking them away from local people. So you will be doing the digging and the sanding and the mixing cement, while the local builders are all doing the skilled manual labour. And that is a really important part of what we do. We want to make sure that our projects are as ethical and sustainable as possible. So this really does touch on that. We also have an apprenticeship scheme which takes former street children and street adults and trains them up, gives them qualifications, skills, and the training to go out and either work for us and building playgrounds or going and finding other employment to support themselves and their families. So these are the builders that you'll be working with when you're over in Uganda. Cool. And then in the afternoons, you will be doing play-based sessions. Uganda does get very warm and is too hot to be doing all of that manual labour in the afternoon. So once you've had your fruit break, you've gone and done another few hours of the manual labour, you'll be doing your play-based sessions. And as a charity, play is really, really important to us. And this is when you're doing arts and crafts, sports and creative games. It's essentially when you really get to know the kids and you really get to know the school and you really become a part of it. You'll learn their names, they'll learn your names, and you'll really be able to feel a part of that school and feel a part of that community, and you'll really be able to feel the difference that you're going to make. And also, it's just great fun. And then at the weekends, this is your opportunity to explore Uganda. We want you to get out there and see everything that the country has to offer. It's absolutely beautiful, and it may not be at the top of everyone's tourist destination bucket list locations to go, but it should be. It's been coined the Pearl of Africa, and that's because of views like this. I think this photo was taken on an iPhone, which is just crazy. Like, you can already, just through a phone, you can see the beauty of it, and this is what you'll be greeted with these views every day that you're over there. We offer a few additional excursion trips that you can take part in. So the first one, this is one that I'm so excited for this summer. It's the high adrenaline trip. So it's a 3-day trip, and you'll be kayaking with the Ugandan Olympic team, which is pretty cool. You'll be doing whitewater rafting, and it's sort of a 3-day trip where you're taking part in some of the most fun rapids ever. I don't know much about kayaking and I don't know much about rapids, but the rapids in Uganda are apparently like world famous. So that's pretty cool. You'll be able to have an opportunity to go there. And then another trip that we offer is the African safari. I feel like this is at the top of everybody's bucket list to do at one point in their life. Again, it's a 3-day trip. You'll be able to go on 2 game drives and try and track down the big 5. You'll be able to camp overnight in a rhino sanctuary and yeah, really experience Uganda's incredible wildlife up close. This is such a cool opportunity. And yeah, as I say, you can tick that off your bucket list as something that you've been able to do. And then we also have the Nile retreat. This is a much more chilled out weekend. If sort of crazy rapids and African safari is not up your street, then that's absolutely fine. If you would rather rest and recuperate after the hard work of volunteering, then you can do the Nile retreat instead. So that's sort of stand-up paddleboarding, floating hammocks, seeing the beautiful landscapes. We also do a sunset river cruise. But yeah, those are our additional excursions that you can take part in. But in addition to this, we recommend going out and doing loads of the free things. So going into the markets, going trying the local cuisine, going on hikes, taking part in some of our like smaller activities like quad biking and horse riding, that kind of thing. Because yeah, as I say, Uganda is a beautiful country, and this is the time where you get to go and experience it and really support the tourist industry. And then once you're finished up doing your exploring at the weekends, you'll be going back to your school. And once all of the manual labour is done, you'll be doing the finishing touches. This is just making sure that your playground is ready for the big day. And this big day is the second day that I was talking about earlier. This is essentially when you are painting the playground. Every playground is designed to fit the needs of the school where it will be built. So there will be a blueprint that the local builders are following, and that's like sort of being created in consultation with the school and the children and the school leaders before you guys even arrive. So every playground will be designed in that way before you arrive. But the one thing that hasn't been decided is what it will look like aesthetically. So the colours. Is the swing set going to be red? Is it going to be blue? Is it going to be a mixture? And this is something that you get to sort of work with your team to decide. We've had projects do a safari theme in the past, which is really cool. We had one project, the school that they were working at was underneath a flight path. So they incorporated that into the design of their playground, and they had like little mini planes painted all over the playground, and that was incorporated into the design, and we actually built a plane into the playground, a very small one, but that's the kind of thing that you can get involved with. And if you are doing these play-based sessions with all the kids at the school, ask them what they would like, because I'm sure that some of them will want a red slide or sort of yellow swing set, whatever it might be. You find that out and you're able to communicate that to the rest of your team. And then also one of the nice traditions that we have is that on the underside of the slide, all of the volunteers and the builders and the cook team and the play based staff, they all put their handprint on the underside of the slide and write their name. And that's just you like really physically leaving your mark on this playground that's going to be enjoyed for years and years to come. But essentially, what you'll be doing over your 2-week or 4-week project is turning this empty, barren playing field that is devoid of anything stimulating or exciting for the children. You'll be turning it from this into this. A fun, safe and exciting playground for children to play on and enjoy for years and years to come. This photo was taken on open day, and open day is going to be a day that you will remember for the rest of your life. The volunteers all come back and talk about it because of how exciting and how fun it was. Essentially, what happens is the children are obviously not allowed to play on the playground as it is being built. That would be really unsafe. But in one of your play-based sessions, you might make a paper chain, and this paper chain then gets tied around the whole playground. You'll have the entire community will show up, all of the parents, all of the family members, all of the community leaders. We've had religious leaders, we've had regional royalty show up, and they've all come together to the open day. And there'll be loads of speeches, there'll be loads of dances. It might be that the volunteers will put on a dance, the kids might put on a dance, and this is all building up to the moment where they cut the ribbon after a big countdown, 3, 2, 1, and the children can play on the playground for the very first time. It will literally disappear under a sea of children. They will be so excited. You'll be able to hear their laughter, see the smiles on their faces, and feel their joy. And you will be so caught up in this moment as well. A lot of volunteers think that it will be a nice opportunity to take some photos and take some videos. And you might snap one or two, but honestly, you'll be drawn into the playground because a lot of these children don't know necessarily how to use a lot of this equipment to the best of its ability. So they want you to show them. You've been on playgrounds, you've grown up with this, and they will want you to, they'll grab your hands and want you to show them the swings, show them the slide, show them the monkey bars. So you'll really be part of this day as well. And what's a really nice thing to think about is that not only will this playground be enjoyed by the children that you see in front of you on the day, but you know that our playgrounds are built to last. They're built to last for 15 years. And then at that end point, we go back in and we will replace the playgrounds. These playgrounds will be enjoyed by thousands and thousands of children, and you've had a really important part of that. So you might be thinking, okay, well, that's really nice. Like, play is just for fun, right? Well, as a play-based charity, we can confirm that that is not the case. Play is not just for fun. It's a lot more important than that. The chances are that you are watching this. If you are watching this, you are a uni student at Cardiff. So we know that uni students love a study, and this is exactly what that is. So this was a study undertaken by Playground Ideas, a charity based in Australia, in 2015, and it followed 2 groups of children in a developing country, and one of these groups of children had access to play and one of them did not. And they found by the end of this study, it lasted 20 years. By the end of the study, they found that the group of children who had access to play from an early age had higher earnings of 42%. They were 44% more likely to graduate from high school. They were 7% more likely to be in increased employment and 17% more likely to get a bachelor's degree. And not only this, the group of children that had access to play were able to better develop their problem-solving skills, their self-esteem, their self-help skills, their persistence, their resilience, their self-confidence. Like, play is not just for fun, it's a fundamental right of children, and it enables them to access learning in a way that you just can't when you don't have access to play. And this is something that's really, really important to us, and it's why we do what we do. That study inspired us to conduct our own study. So we went back to all of the schools where we built a playground and asked them to give us some information to form our own statistics. And from the schools where we've built playgrounds, we've now built over 400 playgrounds, and 98% of schools saw a significant increase in enrolment. So not only were the children who were originally enrolled in the school using the playground and accessing the school, but so too were their siblings, were their friends, were children who were not previously enrolled. They had got enrolled in the school and they were coming along to that school. And this wasn't just when the playground was being built at the time, this was prolonged. So even a year, 2 years, 3 years after, those children were still coming along to school, and that's really important. 83% of our schools found that children's behaviour and concentration in class improved. So not only are they coming along to school, but when they're in school, they're behaving better and their concentration is better, which means that they're getting on better in exams and tests, and their overall improvement in their education is getting on better. And then 74% of children gave the playground as a reason to attend school. That's our favourite statistic, because it just means that the kids are enjoying the playground and they love it. And that's sort of why essentially we do what we do. We want them to come to school, we want to access their education, and we want them to be happier, and our playgrounds are making them happier. Again, just some buzzwords and things to think about. By volunteering with us, you're creating jobs. We are an ethical and sustainable charity. We cover all of our flight. We try to affordable as possible. Our impact is a high impact, and you know that this is a charity that you would be involved with. if you're volunteering with us. So cost and fundraising, this is always a really important part of it, and we're very upfront and honest about what costs what, because we want you to be prepared when joining our projects. So your registration fee is normally £195. You can get in touch about how to reduce this if you're watching this not live, and that'll be £145 because you watched an information session. And then we have a fundraising target. So for our 2-week projects, it's 1,350. For 4 weeks, it's 1,750. I do want to really highlight that this should not come out of your pocket. We do not expect our volunteers to pay a penny. We'll teach you how to fundraise. We do like to consider ourselves fundraising experts. So that target might look quite scary, but it's not going to come out of your pocket. We're going to teach you exactly how to fundraise and run events that will enable you to raise that money elsewhere. So what's included in this? Your airport transfers, your accommodation on project, your meals on project, your team support, your fundraising support, and your training, both in the UK and in Uganda. And 59% of your fundraising target goes directly to the playground materials and charitable activities. So 59% of your fundraising target goes directly to the playground that you build, which I think is a really incredible number. If you look at a lot of different projects, that number would be a lot lower. So I would encourage you to research a little bit, and then you'll be sort of confident in the knowledge that what you're fundraising is going directly to the project that you are working on. And then 41% is your in-country costs. So that's just to cover stuff like your accommodation on projects, etc. So out with your fundraising and your registration, you also have your personal costs, and that is broken down into 5 things. You've got your flights, insurance, visa, vaccinations, and DBS check. So your flights could be anywhere from £700 upwards. As we're getting closer to projects, the flights get more expensive. So I encourage you to sign up and book your flights as soon as you can if this is something you're thinking about doing. Your insurance, it could be free through your university. I'm not sure about Cardiff, but you can sometimes get this for free. Otherwise, it would maybe cost between £60 to £80. Your visa is $50, which usually transfers to about £35. Your vaccinations, again, it depends on what travel you've done before. You could have them all, you may not. So it could be £0 to £100. Your DBS check, you may be able to do for free through your university. Otherwise, you can get in touch and do it through us, and it will be £18 If you already have one, then that's absolutely fine, as long as it's enhanced and it is in date for 2 years before your project ends. And then your optional activities, it should really be 0 because these are completely optional. There is loads of free stuff to do, so you don't have to take part in any of those excursions. But things like your kayaking and your safari and the Nile retreat, it could be up to around £400. So the most expensive of those is your safari. Cool, so how will you reach your target? As I say, we do pride ourselves on being fundraising experts. We have recently won the Charity of the Year award, and that is because of the fundraising support that we give students. So you can do a bunch of different things. If you've never fundraised before, there's absolutely no problem with that. We'll teach you exactly how to. Some previous volunteers have done things like bucket collections, have done physical challenges like sponsored walks. There's cake sales and bake sales. There's tie-dye t-shirt days at primary schools. A Hot Wings challenge, which is a virtual fundraiser, which we will also talk about. There are a bunch of different things that you can do, and it's always very fun for us to see exactly what volunteers get up to, because everyone does it slightly differently. People have loads of different skills and interests, and if you relate your fundraising events to something that you're interested in, it'll be a lot more fun for you to complete. As I say, we give you loads of support and loads of help. We also have an app. The app is really good because it has literally everything you need on it. You will see your full trip itinerary, so you see exactly what you'll be doing on what day. It'll also show you places of interest whilst on project. So when the playgrounds are decided in March, you'll be able to see all the different schools and you'll be able to see what playground and what school you'll be visiting. And there's also travel documents and fundraising guides. The benefit of us having taken out so many volunteers by this point is that there are so many different fundraising ideas, and we have a whole bank of them on the app, and you'll have access to this. There's also a chat function to message us, so we are here, there, and everywhere, giving you this access to like DM us, then we can respond to you more quickly and get in touch with you when you need. So dates, spaces are limited. We are very, very close to our sign up deadline now. So if you're interested in signing up to our project, then please do so as soon as possible, because I think even some of these are sold out. There will be a QR code at the very end of this presentation. So if you are interested in signing up, you can scan that. It'll give you access to your registration fee for 145, and you'll be able to select your dates. But I would recommend doing it ASAP so that you can start your phasing, get your flights booked, and then come out to Uganda with us this summer.